Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead of them and their companies. I'm your host, Olivia Salmons, and in each episode we'll uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, I'm very excited to be joined by Hailey Rowe, a business coach, marketing strategist, and the host of Health Coach Nation podcast. Hailey helps health coaches, life coaches, and online service providers overcome marketing overwhelm, clarify their niche and messaging, and build profitable client attraction systems. She has been recognized as one of the top 25 coaches in Chicago and is known for her practical, heart-centered approach to business growth that eliminates guesswork and builds confidence. Hailey, welcome to Founders Future. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm very much excited to dive in and learn more about your journey. So, Hailey, with all of my guests, I do like to start at the beginning. So if you don't mind briefly taking me back to what it was you were doing before you jumped into the coaching space, and then from there, what was the motivation behind it?
For sure. So when I was in high school, I was an old soul, and I was always in theater, and I started to realize I wanted to start taking better care of myself because I was not very active. I was not in sports. And my entrepreneur journey was actually kind of born out of getting into personal development. So what happened was I started selling fitness DVDs. I started getting into fitness DVDs, and then I started selling them. And I was a little bit of a minor. Like I had to have my parents sign my paperwork to be able to sell these fitness DVDs. And I did that for a little while, and that got me interested in learning sales and learning marketing, and also just in general in personal development. And then what ended up happening is I got my bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship in college, and I wanted to combine my passion for wellness and personal growth with business, marketing, and, helping people with their sales. And so after college, I started working in the startup world in business development and marketing. And the companies I worked for were typically in the wellness or coaching space, which kind of got me into that coaching world. And I got a couple different coaching certifications. And I was always telling myself that I wanted to have my own full-time business, but I wasn't ready yet. You need to get more experience. You need to work at these startups because they were giving me a lot of opportunities to learn. And I was in a very fast-paced environment. But I also, at that time, was on the cusp of burnout because I was, learning everything for the first time, expected to do things that I never thought they would trust a, 20-something-year-old to do. So I was like, okay, well, this is a really good learning experience. But what ended up happening is what I thought at the time was my dream job. And I was saying, I'm going to put my coaching business on the back burner. I'm going to focus on this. And I moved across the country for it to Los Angeles. And it was this company where they were not getting approved to open because it was a wellness facility and a long story. And it was just very delayed in the original timeline they had planned. And so the entire team was let go in a day, and the project was going to get put on pause. And that's when I decided, well, I might as well start my own thing, and I might as well help with the part that wellness entrepreneurs, life coaches, people in that field don't love, which is the marketing and sales part, because I like that part and I like that world. And so I wanted to kind of combine the passions. And so I started working with wellness coaches exclusively. Then over time, I started to expand to working with life coaches, mindset coaches, people who sell online services of some kind, whether that's consulting or coaching or courses. And been doing it ever since. Very lucky to be doing this since late 2017. And that's also when I started my Health Coach Nation podcast. But long story short, that's how I got into it.
I love it. And just finding that gap of what you love best, which is very true. Most founders do not like doing sales and marketing. Most founders, especially when in that space of being coaches, consultants, or an online service provider, they have their zone of brilliance, which is usually the coaching aspect or whatever they're kind of pushing the product, but they don't really understand the other side of that. So it's great that you can bring your initiative and your love for that and just help them grow their businesses to where they want to be as well. So let's dive into that a little bit more. Obviously, you mentioned their coaches, consultants is the main kind of client that we love to work with, but generally, if you could pick them out of a hat, who would be the ideal client? Like, who would you very, very much like to work with every day if you could? And then from there, how would you help them and how would you support them along their own journey?
Yeah. So I work a lot with functional medicine practitioners, people who do like lab tests or holistic wellness, and they offer either private coaching or group program or things of that nature. Like I said, I've worked with people from all different walks of business, but that is the primary group that I have worked with throughout the years for the longest. And what I help them with, I have a framework called Grow Your Business the Fast Way. It's an acronym. And I came up with it one day actually in the sauna where I do my best thinking. And what I created it for was to communicate the kind of principles that you need to have in your business for it to be a full-time business. So the framework stands for followers, action, sales, time management, and transformation. And what I mean by that with followers is first getting clear on who is your person, like who do you want to help? What do you want to help them with? Making sure your message is compelling. And then from there, deciding what's going to be your weekly lead gen plan to be generating those people in your world. Because what so often I see is coaches get certified and then they think people are just going to magically find them or clients are just going to fall into their lap, but they have zero eyeballs, zero connections, zero people they're talking to, zero partners for collaborations. So we have to start building that up, building up your network and building up your audience that you're marketing to so that people are seeing what you're doing. And then the action piece is how do you create messaging, marketing, and content that's compelling enough that people actually want to take action? So this comes down to looking at my clients' copy and auditing their websites if they have one, or helping them create what they need to say on these kinds of platforms, websites, social media, email lists, things like that. And the sales piece is helping you with two things. One, your offers and making sure they make sense, making sure that you have maybe a big offer and a small offer or a downsell. And looking at your sales process and do you feel confident with that? Do you have a structure to it? Are you overcoming the common hesitations and concerns that your audience has, whether that's before the discovery call with you in your emails or during a webinar, things like that. And then time management is helping you with what to focus on each week, how to break things down, what order to go in your business, because it can feel very noisy, very overwhelming with what to prioritize. So helping my clients kind of constrain is a big thing. And then the last part is transformation, which is both what's the personal transformation required to reach your goals. So sometimes my clients have to overcome fear of being on video or an aversion to sales, and they think sales has to be a certain way and it doesn't, or they have to face something outside of their comfort zone. So helping them through those phases. And then the other part of transformation is just making sure that they feel differentiated. They know what makes their company stand out, that they have a good point A to point B within their offer that they can communicate, and that they have testimonials or social proof they can share in their marketing, which is really helpful, as we all know.
Yeah, I love it that you're helping at every aspect of that kind of marketing and sales process and making sure they all link together as well. And then even a mindset piece together as well, because a lot of people, a lot of founders as well, imposter syndrome tends to settle in, and that comes around the pricing, holding their value, as you say, hopping on those sales calls and having the confidence to back themselves a lot. So it's so nice that you kind of encompass everything and take that full holistic approach. What I'm curious to find out as well, how you go about acquiring your own customers. Now, obviously, with your interest and expertise in marketing, I'm very intrigued to find out what is working well for you at the moment. So, like, in terms of
Yeah.
channels or funnels, like, what is working well in finding the right kind of person to work with?
Yeah. So I would say aside from referrals, which and word of mouth, which most people will say because it is one of the easiest and best ways to market. But aside from that, LinkedIn is the social media platform I see the most success with, meaning the most calls booked, the most clients booked, and I have the most followers and reach because I've been doing LinkedIn lead gen consistently since maybe 2018-ish. And so the reason I like LinkedIn is because it's a networking platform. It's made for networking and it's less fluff. Like it's you don't have to post all the time on LinkedIn to be successful. you want to be making connection requests to either your ideal partners or ideal clients, and it's very normal to do that on that platform. You're starting normal conversations. You don't have to send salesy messages. And you can start to build relationships through that platform, build your email list through that platform. So I'm a big fan of LinkedIn. And the other thing that's actually working for me more recently, I would say two things. One, long term, what's been working is an email list. So, of course, I'm a fan of having what I call a freebie or pre-offer or lead magnet where you give value up front, you get people on your email list, and then you nurture them from there. But more recently, Threads has been a platform I'm really enjoying. And I'm almost finding it more direct, like LinkedIn, where there's posts that, someone will post, hey, I'm looking for a podcast guest, or hey, I'm looking for someone to come speak to my members, about a certain topic. Who do you know? Or hey, I'm having a struggle with blank. What do you guys do when this happens? And you can engage with people, answer questions, get visibility. And it's like a shorter platform too, where you don't have to have long posts or do a ton of high maintenance reels and all of that. So I am a fan lately, more recently, of Threads.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like Threads is it's gone back to like old school Twitter in a sense of, as you
Mhm.
say, it's very good for building relationship-based connections, like asking questions and then from there gathering a conversation and seeing where it lands. Do you utilize like paid ads in any form, even on LinkedIn, just to kind of stand out from the crowd? Because it can be a very noisy platform sometimes as well, LinkedIn.
Yeah, so I personally have never done LinkedIn ads. I have done Facebook ads, and I'm getting back into that this year. I definitely think any marketing method can work if you work it and if you're consistent with it. Ads, I find, just has a lot more grunt work up front. Like it's one of those things where long term it can be fantastic and fast, but short term it takes a long time to figure out what works. You're always going to have to be changing it. It's never like, setting up an ad and you're one and done and you never have to touch it again, which is, I mean, any marketing platform, you need to be adaptable. But with ads, for me, if I commit to it, I really like commit to it. So I took a year off from ads last year, and now I'm getting back into
Yeah.
it, and I do think it can work. It's just I have to like mentally prepare myself just for that marketing channel.
Yeah.
It's not nothing again. I mean, it's not better than or less than. It's just I personally have to like. It's not my natural favorite way of marketing.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, and there is a tracked ads. There's a trick to it, and I
Mhm.
think for us definitely here we run a lot of ads across Meta. Meta is incredible for running ads comparison to LinkedIn anyway. Like the ROI you get, and when you do crack
Mhm.
it, it comes in like in a nice form. So
Yeah.
I think they just help with that level of consistency in ad flow, which is what the other things don't provide. So I think having a little bit of all of them is always nice just to keep that bracket, but the ads definitely add the consistency and help without waving in and out every month. And also, Haley, with that being said, I'm assuming you're still pretty much a solopreneur at the moment, or do you have a team that are helping you out with like setting up the ad funnels and maybe taking some
Mhm.
other jobs off of your plate as well?
Yeah, I do have two team members,
Yeah.
and they help with certain tasks, like, a lot of administrative stuff, some of my lead filtering, things like that, repurposing content. So I've actually had one of my current assistants since like 2018 when I started, which is pretty rare that you stay that long with somebody, but luckily, it has worked out, and she helps a lot too with the podcast, which is really nice. And I think it's very important at some point when your hourly rate is, when you get a feel for what your hourly rate is, and someone else can do something that's a repetitive task that's less dollars per hour than your time, the sooner you can get something off your plate like that, the better. And it's just a matter of creating the systems to train somebody to do that, which I know a lot of us don't love doing, and taking the time to slow down to speed up type of thing. But it is a good thing once you get that off your plate.
100%. I also think it's very important for the founders to know every job aspect to some degree. Don't get me wrong, you don't have to be an expert in everything that
Yeah,
goes on within the business.
100%.
But yeah, I think as soon as you kind of know that, and as you say, you can take the point and leave that job to somebody else who is brilliant at that. hand that over as quick as you can. A lot of founders get stuck in the trenches, as you'd know, like trying to do everything, and it is just it's easier, as you say, to pause, take a rest, to train, and then we can go forward again.
Right.
And Hailey, we are at the start of 2026, so I'm very intrigued to find out your plans for the future. So when you think of the next 6 to 12 months, like what is that vision? Like what is that goal that you're working towards at the moment?
Yeah, so I really enjoy what I do and I want to keep doing it. And so my main goal is to just continue growing my most recent offer. I mean, it's been around for a couple years, but I have been more focused on it lately, is my Work Smart Marketing Club, which is my membership. And my goal is to eventually have 100 members in that. So I've been working on, sharing it more. And basically, it's getting support with your marketing and sales process in an easy way. So I've been, promoting that. I would say the other thing is just continuing with my podcast, Health Coach Nation. I want to be more intentional with it this year. It's always been a repurposing platform for me. But I want to do more solo episodes. I have a lot of things I want to share this year. It used to be all guests. Now I'm kind of doing a little more of a balance with that. And I'm also getting married later this year, so we're gearing up for that. So lots of things, but a lot of
Yeah.
the same, a lot of just doing more of the same, which I think so often when we hit a new year, people are like, I gotta do new things and I gotta reinvent everything. And I'm kind of like, I want to keep doing this and focus, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I love that. Just keep growing, but more of it, I suppose, is
Yeah,
that goal. And congratulations as well. So we've
thank
got
you.
some great wins, both business and personal, coming up, which is really, really cool. And Hailey, where are you maybe finding like the biggest challenge for yourself at the moment in like taking the next steps in the business?
Biggest challenge is making time for my ads course. So on the topic of ads, I've outsourced it before and I like that. However, I also want to dive deeper into developing my ad skills. I have a basic level of skills with that, but I want to be like really much better at it.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest challenge is I tend to put it off just like anybody who, when you're a beginner at something or you're not like you don't crush it at
Yeah.
it and you don't like love it, you don't want to do it. So that's kind of my biggest thing
I
right
know exactly what you mean. It's like the procrastination is like, oh, I'll get to
now.
it later.
Hmm.
And then you never get to it because you, as you say, you just really don't want to sit down and figure out how to do it and take
Right.
too much time on it. But Hailey, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your incredible journey and insight with us. Where can our listeners reach out best to work with you or connect with you if they would like to do so?
Yeah, well, thank you again for having me. And if you do want to check out my free gift, I have a training that takes you from crickets to clients. It gives you a freebie funnel formula you can use to grow your sales. It's available at haileyrowe.com/live event. And if you want to connect on Instagram, I'm at Hailey_Rowe. My name's spelled with an I, so it's Hailey. And then haileyrowe.com is my website. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on all the things. And of course, the Health Coach Nation podcast, which we talked about a little bit today.
We did. And thank you again for joining us, Hailey. I really appreciate your time. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to go and drop Hailey a message, Hailey Rowe, on LinkedIn. And please check out the podcast as well. Health Coach Nation, and do not forget to subscribe to Founders Future while you're there, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with one of our team and discover how we went from $0 to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. But until then, keep on climbing, and we will see you on the next one.